Amen. Amen.
Wonderful. Anybody remember where we cut off last time?
Joshua chapter 2.
All right, that's good. All right, so we start out in Joshua 2. All right, we're going to start reading for us.
Now Joshua, the son of Nun, sent out 2 men from Acacia Grove to spy secretly, saying, "Go view the land, especially Jericho." So they went and came to the house of a harlot named Rahab, and lodged there. And it was told the king of Jericho, saying, "Behold, men have come here tonight from the children of Israel to search out the country." So the king of Jericho sent to Rahab, saying, "Bring out the men who have come to you, who have entered your house, for they have come to search out all of the country."
All right, so let's start out there. Let's talk about those three verses.
Joshua, like we were talking about earlier, Joshua's son, two spies out to kind of recon the area, so and they report back to them, what's going on, what's out there. You go to recon the area, they go out there and let them know, what names, how many people, maybe how many people there, or whatever's going on. But he sent 2 spies to find out what's going on, so that he can come and report to them, so he can have some kind of game plan going in.
Okay, do y'all remember what we finished out? What was significant about them going to this land? Y'all remember what last Bible study we talked about when Joshua, when the people answered Joshua, and said, "Hey Joshua, whatever you tell us to do," because they under new leadership now. Whatever you tell us to do, we're gonna do it. We're gonna be obedient. And if anybody in our group don't listen, we're going to deal with them. They literally said we're going to put them to death. If anybody don't get with the plan of us going, because you told us, and he told a few verses before that, he said, God told me, he said, wherever you go, as long as the sole of your feet touch it, it's going to be yours. But you got to go. And then the people came back and told Joshua, we're going to do it. We trust you, and we're going to go where you tell us to go. We're going to do it. We're going to be obedient to the place that you're trying to lead us. And they even went so far as to say that anybody from among us is disobedient, we're going to put them to death. And so they committed to going and doing what God told them to do so they could get what God was promising them. And so now, when we find ourselves in verse 2, now we see Joshua, like Ty said, he's sending out 2 spies to go and, you say like recon, go and check out the land, see what we're going to be dealing with when we get there. What does that tell us right there?
That's like you go through and being prepared.
That's good. Yeah. And so just because God promised you,
right,
that don't mean some people think that just because God told you to do something, that you can just go do it. But you got to be prepared. A lot of people criticize our church because in our church, in order to go into ministry, you got to have an education. You have to go to school, and if you don't go, you can't come into ministry. You might be able to be a lay minister at your local church, but you can't become clergy in the eyes of the church unless you go and you prepare yourself. And so a lot of people look down on that and say, out of the degree, if God called me, I don't need a degree. Well, Paul, y'all remember when God called Paul, that experience, what happened when God called Paul into the ministry? Anybody remember that? Yeah, somebody tell me about that story right there when Paul got called into the ministry.
Well, Paul was like, persecuting Christians. And God got his attention. And he's going to roll the message in blind. I just put in these words, God knows how to get our attention, no matter how. Even though Paul was doing things, he was doing the wrong thing. And God got his attention on Damascus Road, and he changed his whole life around. God used somebody else to work through Paul, to help Paul through the journey. The same thing he can do with us.
Okay, good point. Did he tell it right, George? Pretty much. Okay. God called Paul in the ministry on the road to Damascus. He was going to do some dirt, and God got his attention. Called him to the ministry. And that's pretty much most of us. When God called most of us, we was into some dirt, and he got our attention. But specifically for ministry, with Paul's case, it was also for ministry. But Paul didn't actually get a chance to go into Jerusalem, where the temple was, and do ministry for 17 years after God called him. And so he spent 14 years, and I had to get the details, but he spent 14 years in one place, and then he spent another 3 years in another place before he was actually allowed. The church wouldn't even allow him to come and do ministry in Jerusalem. And then after 17 years, he was finally able to go to Jerusalem and do ministry, because he had to be prepared. He had to go through a period of preparation.
Wasn't there someone that God told him to go see, that he had to go see that person?
Ananias.
Ananias.
Yeah, he told him, say, I could go. He said, go see Ananias.
Yeah.
And then that's when the scales came off. And then after he went through that process, that was the process. And then after that process, he had 14 years of ministry in a place. Then another 3 years I think in the desert. But he had 17 years altogether before he was allowed to come back to the church and do ministry, because he had to go through a period of preparation. And I think that's where so many people fall short today, because they think that, okay, God called me, now all of a sudden I can be a pastor, I can be a minister, I can be a bishop, or I can be this or be that. But there's a process with it, and the process is to make sure that you're ready, you know. And so where our church is concerned, yeah, right. School is not going to, it's not going to anoint you anymore, you know, but it does prepare you, because ministry is about more than knowing how to preach. And even when you know how to preach, just because you know the techniques and the style of it, doesn't mean you know how, you have the techniques to go and get. You know, it's a lot of people that don't come to Bible study and things like that, and how you all can go and get in scripture and go and get stuff out of scripture from techniques that we learn in Bible study, and watching how we go and identify something and key on the word and do that. And we learn those kind of techniques through training. But there's some people that look at that word and just like get frustrated, just get sleepy, because it's not, they're not able. And you ever seen sometime where, you know, at certain times, you know, sometimes like you might look at a word, and then you might look at it again with somebody else who might be able to kind of teach you some additional skills again, and you're like, wow, I didn't know all that was in there. You know, but you participate in going to get it because you learn the techniques and how to get more information out of the word. You know, just for me, you know, I've had the opportunity to take Hebrew and Greek. And so in those opportunities, you know, it teaches so much more, that, you know, you can look at a simple word that we might look at, you know, and then when you're able to go and get the original translation, you know, go get the original word before it was translated, the original text before we begin translating, go and seeing what the original, you know, a simple word like love. You know, love to us can mean so many different things. You know, bro, Alice, some men love their women so much they have to beat them every now and then. You know, cause they love them. You know, some folk love somebody, they might have to kill them. You know, folk love in a lot of strange ways, because love is real general. When I was at University of Florida, because I did my bachelor's in religion at University of Florida, but I was taking this I was in this poetry class, and the teacher would not. He said, anybody in here under 30, when you use it, when you do your poetry, when you write it, you can't use the word love. Anybody under 30, he said, because he said, if you're under 30, you don't even know. He said, you won't have a clue to what love means, because it's so broad. Love can be so broad. It means so many different things. But I was over 30, so I was like, hey, I was supposed to finish it right here 16 years ago, and I didn't finish it right the first time. So it's big. So he said you can use it. But the idea is, if you're looking at the Greek and you say something like, husband, love your wife, you know. But then in the Greek, there are 4 different words for the word love. You know, there's a word called phileo. There's a word called storge. You know, there's a word called
Agape.
that's my last one. Eros. There's a word called eros. And but the love that's in the text says agape. And so in there, and so they have a way of being able to even narrow down more, because they have 4 different words for love. You know, eros is a physical type love. You know, but if it's a physical, and when the physical change, the love gonna change. You know, phileo is a emotional type love. Okay, but when the emotions change, you know, the love might change. You know, storge is a kindred, like relationship. But you know, sometimes you feel like I don't even feel a connection, and the love gonna change. But agape is unconditional, a love that comes from God. You know, and so when you're talking about love, and you can narrow it down to something like that, then I say, husband, love my wife. And so if she get in a car accident, you know, and her physical thing change, or for me, Sean's sake, you know, this belly keep getting bigger and bigger. All right, and so, you know, one day when I'm way out here, she still got to love me if it's the real kind of love, you know. And so when you really able to hone in on the specifics, you tell man, get out of here, man. Get out of here, man. So when you get out too. Science and legal, get out. All right, and so everybody that didn't get that, they praise God, y'all saints, but for everybody, but when you know the love in that way, because you're able to pull it from the Greek text, you know, it gives you an even more clear, and that comes from preparing yourselves and learning more. And then that means, and how would you all feel if you had a pastor trying to teach you Bible study and that didn't know any more than you even knew, and trying to teach you, but in reality you really got to dumb yourself down to be able to enjoy the Bible study, because it's a lot of stuff that they don't know how to pull out of the study. You know, that can kind of get frustrating. As a member, you all deserve more. Deserve somebody that's going and prepared that can help me do what I'm trying to do better. And so preparation is a good thing. And everything that we do, preparation, not just for the pastoral ministry, but preparation is good for other areas. Carolyn, is preparation good as it comes to the music ministry? Preparation is good when it comes to the music ministry. Ella, is preparation good when it comes to the usher ministry? It's good. And so many other areas, preparation is so critical, because you're able to get the maximum effectiveness out of what you're trying to do, and the maximum production out of what you're trying to do. And so right here, Joshua, God has already promised him you can have the land, but instead of just running in and getting the land, like Teddy just said, he's making preparations to go in and get the promise. Not just running in and trying to grab the promise, but making preparations to go in and get the promise. And so it said, Joshua the son of Nun, he secretly sent 2 spies from Shittim. Go look over the land, he said, especially Jericho. So they went and entered the house of the prostitute named Rahab and stayed there. Now, can y'all pull something out of that right there? He says, go and check out the land. Go secretly. What is there any meat in why they went to a prostitute house? Any meat in that? Might not be any meat on that bone, but is there any meat on that bone?
You know, well, I'm looking at it. I mean, you go to a place like that, that's the feeding. I mean, because you know, said, I mean, we got a problem with how people were doing it. So you know, in order so they won't stand out, I think that was probably one of the, they was kind of thinking, okay, well, we go here. You know, nobody, we ain't got to worry about nobody looking to it because, you know, this is what people.
So it's almost like they camouflage themselves.
They camouflage because, you know, the mission, they say the mission requires strict privacy. So, you know, they had to, by any means necessary. I mean, just like I said, they probably have to camouflage themselves. Sometimes, you know, they may have to go and stand in a corner for 2 hours. A corner of a wall, a building, whatever, for 2 hours, just waiting before they can make their next move. But they had to be undercover, strictly private. So, you know, this house, you know, they're going to go in there just to fit in with everybody else, to try to blend in.
Is that what you use as an equal, or you had a different outlook?
Pretty much.
Just kind of blend in.
And nobody would look for them there because if everybody else is going there, they might as well go there together.
Okay. Byron, I saw you throw your look.
I was about right there with us in the blend in part, and then I was sent to go to a prostitute place for a go-to person. See, everybody, when you're starting to look for something, you go in a place like this is a place where everybody hang out. So anytime you want to find out, it's right there. You got your crooks in there, you got your good folk. Everybody in the prostitute house ain't, you know what I'm saying?
So you say everybody coming to the prostitute, the preachers, the governor, everybody coming.
Right. Everybody go in there until they get caught. But what the thing is, I would go to the prostitute place not only so that I would hide and so I could blend in. I go somewhere where I can find out everything I know. When you in here, it's the go-to person.
So that's almost like the barber shop.
There you go. It's the go-to.
Well, hey, y'all pulling some meat off this bone.
I'm just saying. I see it.
I'm blending in, and then that's where you get all the information
If
at.
you came to this town and you really want some information, okay, your ministry is outstanding and this and that, but you want to start learning how to fit it, and not how to minister in St. John's County about the other side. The first thing you probably want to know is find your go-to person and say, man, where's your railroad tracks at? I'm finna go out here up under the tree for a minute, and not that I'm finna hang under the tree, but I can find out some things I need to know. This is the go-to place called. This is where everybody, this is a place where you can find out what you need to find out.
Okay, y'all pulling some meat off this bone.
Being that is this kind of house, it's not unusual for strange men to come in there. It's not unusual, and it doesn't around. It's not unusual.
So it wasn't out of place. Strangers came there all the time.
All the time. When they passing through the city, they stop to the Harvard House. What they need to do when they business to keep on moving.
There's one more piece of meat in that scripture I need to pull out before we move on. Did y'all notice Joshua, the wisdom that he used? He didn't just send one. What's that?
Keep them accountable for one another.
Keep them accountable for one another.
Yeah.
Peter sent one. One might have been spend his money too. You got caught up. Just Allen, that one would have got caught up.
I'm gonna stick to my lie. I didn't do it, but see, another man might tell, don't go in that room, man. You know what I'm saying? We can help one another.
So two helps with accountability.
Right.
You know, that's what I tell the evangelism team. That when we go and really do evangelism, we and I can tell them 3. You know, we need to have 3 people together to go talk to one person. You gotta have 3. All 3 don't have to talk. All right, but it keeps some accountability. You know, and so even when he sent them into the land and to go and check it out, he started out with wisdom, say, you know, I'm not gonna put more pressure on either one of these brothers than needs to be put on them. And so they can keep each other accountable. But then they can go in, they can blend in. You know, they go in and that's the place where the information, there's information in that place. And then also it's not out of ordinary for strangers to come there. Okay, I like y'all pull some meat off that bone. Anything else before we keep going? It says so, and it said that's where they stayed. But it said the king of Jericho was told, no matter how good a plan is, somebody. That's what all of us need to know. All of us need to know somebody.
Somebody on the home team.
And that's why it's good go up there by yourself and hang out, somebody looking at you. And the word gonna get back. But now, if me and Melvin was up there together now you want to tell a big lie for both of us. We was up there for ministry. Now I was sitting up there by myself. Yeah, I saw Rim Roll. I saw him up there, and I saw he had a red cup. I don't know what was in the cup, but he had a red cup. But now me and Melvin up there together, unless we don't work the lie real good together, we gonna have a better chance of protecting ourselves when it comes, because somebody watching. And so the word got back to the king, the enemy. Word got back to the king, and what was the word that got back to the king?
It was spies.
Huh?
It was spies.
It's some Israelites.
Yeah.
Some Israelites that come here, and I know why they came. The word, as much as you prepare, you ain't really preparing to stop the enemy from attacking. I think you're preparing to be able to handle adversity when it comes. In all of your preparation, it's not going to stop trouble from coming. But what it is going to do is help you when trouble comes. Because all this preparation, word still got back to the king and some spies. They blended in, went right and ring, did all the things that seemed like would work to get what you need. But somebody still saw him and got the word back to the king. There's some spies from Israel in the land. And it says, so the king of Jericho sent this message to Rahab. Bring out the men who came to you and entered your house, because they've come to spy out the whole land. Somebody want to hit that before I touch it? I'm really wanting it bad. I'm going to let somebody else touch that right there. Rahab. Why? What's the deal with Rahab, a prostitute? Why? And now the king, they done went to her, she didn't let him stay. And now the king go and tell her to give him up. What's this significance about Rahab? Can anybody pull some meat off that one?
The main thing was probably surprising to a lot of people that she went against her king. She went against her king, not because, her thoughts or what people saying. She went because just like people had heard there were two strangers in her house, she had also heard, about the God of Israel. So her thing was, hey, she had faith. So she went against her king. She stood out there on faith and going against her king. Now that got to be some strong faith. You go against your king, your master.
But I'm wondering now, this is the king of all of Jericho. He can't know everybody.
He knew Rahab.
How he know Rahab?
Because he obeyed him.
Rahab got some power.
Amen.
Rahab got some power. The king, he called her by name. Huh? He knew the innkeeper name.
They had a combination. They had a combination between the two of them, and that was God. Rahab was a believer in God.
You think Rahab believed in God?
God of Israel.
Rahab. You think so? What makes you think that?
Because I read it somewhere.
You read it later, but I'm talking about now.
But it still showed that she had faith. There had to be something. Rahab
has some respect for God.
Respect for God.
I got you. She has some, even though she might have been doing her thing.
Out there just like anybody else, but she believed in God.
I got you.
That's just like I think about the movie Friday. It was people that hadn't seen Debo, but they heard about Debo. They heard about Debo, so they had much respect for Debo, and they had not even seen him. But just because they heard about Debo and what Debo used to do, they had much respect for. So when Debo did so, it was like, hey, so they bowed down.
She had a respect.
Yeah. She heard about what God had been doing, and she heard about his works, and It's just a respect thing.
I believe in the respect part, but it hit one thing that when I just going by, what I see, out there in the streets and stuff like that. What I'm thinking, she might be the God on these things, but who in the king had been messing around.
So
And
two
that's
things.
why she get all the information. She was the inside person. And now I don't mind you running this but you still.
But if he the king, he got to look out for the prosperity of his kingdom.
Right.
Now, if Rahab didn't bring nothing, she brought tourists. She kept tourists around. Like how you talk about, like one thing that with Tourist and Development Council that they talk about here, they talking about stays. That's the important thing right there. They all right with the tourists that come in, visit for a day and leave. But they want the stays. They want the ones who staying overnight, who staying multiple. They spending money, hotel, and so that's really important. So, and then I said, so what Rahab did, her business, it helped the kingdom out. It got people to stay in the kingdom, spend more money, it helped commerce, and things like that. And so I'm not gonna say that her the king, and we don't know that information, but apparently there's something about her business that was also profitable for the king also. Whether it was personal profit or it was professional profit, but there was something about what she did to where it was to the magnitude that the king knew her by name, and in addition to that, what she did was profitable. Like right now, if let's say a major employer, let's say like a little small time employer, left a mom and pop store closed down, you'll say, oh, we miss them. But ain't nobody trying to say, let me give me your tax, let me do some kind of incentive to stay. But they're trying to let Walmart or Florida School for Deaf and Blind or some kind of Flagler Hospital, let something like that talk about we leaving town. You better believe it's some powerful officials here that's going to go have some conversation and say, what can we do to get you to stay in this town? Because you are a benefit to the progress and the success of this area. And so apparently Rahab, whatever her business, it had enough clout to where the king knew her by name, and then went and called her and said, have her come to me, because I need tell her I need her to send those men that came to her, send them to me. And so that kind of lets us know who Rahab is. When they went, they didn't just find a house, but they really found a place that had some significance. That a place that had some. When they went in and did the spine, they didn't just go anywhere. They went to a place that had some significance. But I think, like Sister Allen said, but I think that even with the significance that Rahab had, as far as her relationship with the leadership, but I think somewhere they must have known that Rahab had a respect for God too, because that would have been dangerous if Rahab didn't have a respect for God. And so I think they saw all that, and when they spied out and they saw that kind of stuff, they chose her because she had significance. But she might not have been a sold-out Christian at that point, or at this point it wasn't Christian, but she might not have been a sold-out believer at that point, but she had enough sense to know that the God of Israel was somebody to be respected. And so I think that's key when we talk about going out and spying the land. It's key to make contact with significant people, but that also respect the Lord. So when folk try to sell you out, you got some folk that fear. Not that fear you, but that fear the one that sent you. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying they fear God.
Yeah. So it's me on this thing. It said, but the woman, who's the woman? Rahab. See, Rahab's smart. She was the businesswoman. You don't have a successful business without being smart. It's drug dealers out there that's smart. You got whatever you do, you gotta have some sense to be successful at it. And so he said, the woman had already taken the 2 men. Why do you think she had already hidden them?
Because she said,
Because strangers come through here all the time. Why she having to hide them two?
because she hadn't heard, but she just knew.
She knew what?
I mean, she knew it, you know, she knew it was something different. But I think, you know, just like, you know, I mean, people have a sense, you kind of feel
No,
inclined. I
that's
think
not. She didn't pay for it.
Go ahead, Shirley. Oh, is it funny?
No,
You
no,
want-
I'm
go
just
ahead.
saying,
Okay.
the difference was, they didn't buy any.
No, it sounds funny, but listen, it's good. It sounds funny, but I'm sure they saw something different. Everybody else was coming and spending money.
That's right.
These men were different.
Right.
And Rahab probably knew there was a connection between these men and that God that I got enough sense to fear. But then I think she also knew that I don't care how secretive they think they've been, somebody in here gonna go back and tell the king.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Right, and a lot of times, I make a parable, they had this reality show on, and this dude on the show that's coming on now, he called this woman that walked in the nightclub and called the B word and all this him. So it got back to the woman's husband. The boyfriend for what you said. But my point is, but the point I'm trying to make is, you said that to her, and that he was a rapper too, but the thing was, you didn't know who she was. So when you got these men here that she hid, you don't know where they come from or who these men is. You know what I'm saying? So these gotta be some important men just so they ain't spending money like you say. I don't know who they is, but I'm gonna hire them. We just deal with that later, but before you do anything drastic to anybody, you gotta do some investigating yourself and find who it is you really dealing with. So she like having all these people significant and all that, so you don't know who these people is. So I'm not gonna handle like that. We'll deal with that later. Right now I'm high because I know they gotta be dealing with something. Why the king won't be dealing with something that's significant with these two. So she didn't know who they were.
She has to tell you.
This is where I came from. I think Rahab had heard about the king heard about the spies, and the king knew they out there for see what she fall into. The king had heard about it, and I think Rahab heard about the king, heard about it. She was hiding the spies. And he threw it out there and see what she fall like. Somebody might hear something there, say something, see what you fall into. That's all they're doing, like setting you up to get the information what they already want to know. They throw it out there to you and see if you fall into it. I think that's what happened.
And so Rahab had an opportunity to go ahead and not start leaning in a new direction or go back to what she knew. The king, like you said, the king threw it out there and said, hey, I need you to send me them two men out, they spies. I need from Israel, I need you to send them. But she had already hid it because she had enough insight to know that the king was going to give me something. How can we apply that? Give me a scenario that we can apply something like that to in this life today. Give me a scenario.
If you look at listen, hear a lot of stuff that happens in the media about women that are in the profession that she was in. You know, they know a lot of secrets. I mean, you know, these men come and they talk and they tell a lot of things. And she knew a lot of information, so that would be a place to go because, like they say, everything was told there. And she knew everybody's secrets. So, I mean, even the night, I'm quite sure that they were there. There were people that probably commented about the fact that they were there. So she knew that event, that, like you said, somebody was going to go back and tell the king because somebody probably had already told her that they were going to go tell the king. Because when, like I say, you see in the media all the time, these women come out of the woodwork, they know everybody's secrets. They can tell everything about everybody, and I'm quite sure she did. She knew everybody's secrets.
You know what I heard the old phrase say, there's no honor among thieves. And so the same one that saw the one go back and tell the king probably also came and told Rahab somebody going to tell the king on you. They gotta get I'm helping you, Rahab. And so there's no honor among thieves. And so
You're right, but I don't know how did he know.
Yeah, and so Rahab knew that the king had them guy and was getting ready to come. But my thing is, why would Rahab risk? Because Rahab got a successful business. When the king know your business, you must be making some money. Why would she risk her successful business to hide these men of God? Why would she risk that?
Insurance.
Huh?
Insurance to maintain her business at the level it is. And as giving age she got it through being a child of God.
I missed something. Say it again.
She's a business lady. I think in terms of what happens in the same business today, just like she was saying. And when she comes into there and she believes in this man called God, whatever her reasons are, and these two women there, if she's heard something about it, she's going to try to find out about it if she can.
And so she kind of protected herself on both sides. I got to make sure that the king don't try to kill me, but I can't let these men of God be hurt either. And so that's what she said in the next. And she said, but the woman had taken the two men and hid them. And she said, yes, the men did come to me, but I did not know where they had come from. At dusk, when it was time to close the city gate, they left. I don't know which way they went, but y'all better go get them quick if you're gonna catch up with them. And so she looked out for herself. She said, okay, I gotta hide these men of God, but I also gotta look out for myself too. All right, and so she kind of had, but she had enough insight to know, and I just think that the men, what made them choose Rahab? Because I'm not sure everyone would have did that for them. There must have been something special, even though she was a prostitute. They must have saw something in Rahab that maybe they didn't know, but God knew. But what made them go to Rahab, and then she put herself out there like that to help them.
But God will let
I
you
think
know.
God is trust.
Let me hear what Carol got to say, and then I'm gonna keep on. I think it's Ted and then Todd and Barnes. Go ahead,
But
Carol.
God will let you know. He will speak to you and tell you who you can trust.
So you saying God, just listening to God
Yes.
will help you choose the right association?
That's correct.
He directed her, it led to her, and she has the insight, and she's a business lady, and she's there.
No, I'm saying the men.
The man can't.
Why did they choose Rahab? And so Carol is saying that they listen to God.
And she listens to God. She's a child of God.
I don't know about that right now.
But
I think she might fear God, but she's not a child of God. She's not an Israelite.
She may not be Israelite, but she's in business. And she's a solid business lady that stays on top of things. And she's not going to let anybody get to where she can't use.
Okay.
She's a business lady.
Okay.
I'm a business lady.
Okay.
And I'm going to get mine.
Okay.
I'm not going to get out there and hurt myself.
Okay.
I'm not going to give up anything I want to give up.
Okay.
And when there's something that's coming off as strong as this is and as important as it is, you feel it.
Okay.
And God will direct you one way or another. And right now, her thing is to get these two men, protect them, but maintain her status quo at the same time.
Okay, Ty.
With the guy choosing Rahab, I think that was because Joshua was
Send nobody else.
Ty.
that was what, so Joshua sent them. That was what God revealed to him. So I think
You think Joshua told him to go to
that
Rahab?
Joshua sent them to, he the one sent the two spies.
To Rahab.
I think he sent them.
that's not what the word says.
I'm just telling you what I think.
That's not what the word says.
But now it's one thing called exegesis and some called eisegesis. Exegesis when you use the word to come up with your conclusion. And eisegesis when you can't really prove it in the word, but it's what you think.
Well, okay, just going back to, because I know, okay, these two guys went to prostitute out there. And I know that because of her faith. And something, God had revealed something to her about those two men. So, then if I flip that back around, think about their faith, their being that Joshua was their faith was in Joshua and in God. And God also had that, I think something was revealed in them also.
Think. Can you show me why in this
Well,
scripture,
okay,
what would make you think that Joshua sent them to Rahab? Because all I see is that Joshua sent them to Shittim.
Yeah.
But I mean, you might see it, but I think I might be going further. I think they actually had a relationship once they were sent.
Yeah.
I think they had a relationship to hear from God, because I can't really see what Joshua sent them. And it might have, I could be wrong, and it might be something later that go back and show that. But right now in the scripture I'm looking at, I don't see it. But there might be some other scripture that I'm not looking at right now, and I guarantee that could possibly be. There's a whole bunch of the scriptures that I just don't know. But in what I'm looking at, I can't say Joshua sent them to Rahab Island. To me, it looked like Joshua sent them to the city, and then they ended up in Rahab Island.
So because of their faith, they're like, okay, so because of their faith, because of what faith they have, I think God wants to reveal something in them, and also God reveal something in Rahab also.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm trying to get an idea. Why did they end up? So Carolyn said that God will, if we listen to God, God will speak to us and tell us where we need to be. And what you saying, Brian?
No, I was right on sister right all the way, because I was looking on the side of my Bible, just got a little piece, but explain. I'm just reading just a little piece of it. It said God blessed Rahab for acting on her faith by hiding the spy and then sending them away for safety. And that goes back to the part about the faith, how God put people in our way. And evidently,
How did we get that way?
have faith, enough faith in God that exposed her to hide these guys.
Y'all keep talking about Rahab. I just wonder what they mean right now. Carolyn dealt with it. Ty dealt. I want to know, and I think I got enough of an answer.
Okay, what you want
That-
to men?
What made these men go to Rahab's house? But I think because Rahab seemed to be the perfect one. From the outside, don't seem to be the perfect one. But then she went over and beyond to protect them. Once she got insight that harm wanted to come their way, but I think Carolyn is on key. The fact that that we have to make sure that we're in a position to hear from God, and He might tell us to go somewhere that don't seem like the traditional place to go, but He got a reason for telling us to go there.
That's right.
And it'll work out.
Outside,
She
we
was
might
right
not
on
see.
point.
Yeah.
She was right on point.
Just do what He said.
Yeah, just be obedient.
Yeah.
You got to be the gift
Might
of
not
God,
see.
man.
Yeah.
It's-
Don't ask Him why.
It says she said you better go get them. He says go after them quickly so that you can catch up with them. But she had taken them up to the roof and hidden them under the stalks of flax, and she had laid out on the roof. So the men, is there any meat in there? Y'all might be get some meat off that bone 6. Say she took them to the roof and hid them up under the stalks of flax. Well, y'all, is there some meat in there? What is flax?
Plant.
Huh?
Stalk plant.
What kind of plant?
I know what flax seeds are, so is it? Like a grain?
Like grain?
Like a hive.
And so she, let me read this scripture right here.
In the bush.
Moses came back charred. I'm just reading another scripture talk about flax. You have to look at flax. Somebody look at flax and give me some kind of plant. See, as he approached Lehi, the Philistines came toward him shouting. The Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him. The ropes of his arm became like charred flax, and the bindings dropped from his hands. So flax must not be real strong. Like flax. Somebody, y'all pull up one of them phones. Give me flax. Let's see if there's some meat on that. Flax. Come on, flax. Know we get some seeds from. Y'all gonna make me pull it up?
Everybody can pull it.
I just said it's like wheat.
Huh?
Bible said it's like wheat.
The Bible?
No, I didn't say that.
Huh?
I didn't say it was like wheat.
Come on out the closet and talk. Give me the definition. You got it? I know you got it. Give me the whole definition I get. I'm talking to you, Miss Ena. What's the definition? Flax. Give me the definition.
Oh, I have looked up, but it's something like wheat.
Okay,
They bundle it like wheat.
Flax.
Okay, so here it is right here.
You know how they use bundle straw, that's what they do with flax.
Okay, like bundle. Okay, like wheat. So it's not. Okay, so flax is a member. I'm trying to get the English part of it. Native to the region. It's a member of the genus Linum in the family. That's what word I don't know. It is native to the region, extended from eastern Mediterranean to India, and was probably the first domesticated in the Fertile Crescent. It is known as the nari in the Greek. Flax was extensively cultivated in ancient Ethiopia and ancient Egypt and a prehistoric cave. The flax fibers have been found that they implicated as first domestic species of people. It's not related to flax. Let me see. And so a plant, flax is an erect annual plant growing. It's tall, slender stem. The leaves are luscious, green, slender, long. Flowers and pyramids are not found in a whole bunch.
I mean, it says some of the uses of it are fabric, dye, paper, medicines, fishing nets, hair gels, cloth ropes, high quality paper, and soap. I mean, she was using it to supply her own business. Got anything?
And so that's probably stuff that she normally had around, and she just used it to cover them up. Okay, I couldn't find. I know I got some meat in it, but I can't find it right now. But so we gonna go ahead and go and let somebody can pull somebody that can pull something in there. Why flax? But let's go ahead. All right. So it said, but she had hidden them under the roof, taking them up to the roof, hidden them under the stalks of flax that she had laid out on the roof. And so I'm sure she laid them out so they could dry out, so she could use them for whatever, her purpose of it. So the men set out in pursuit of the spies on the road that leads to the fords of the Jordan. And so the men went out after, they went out after them down the road that leads to the fords of Jordan. And as soon as the pursuers had gone out, the gate was shut. All right. Now you remember, and so now they go out after the men and then shut the gate. Anybody got anything in number 7? She said she tell the men, they send them out, they go out after them, the gate was shut. Any meeting them? Or that they keep going? Keep going. I don't keep going because I ain't pulling them yet either. It says in 8, before the spies laid down for the night, she went up on the roof and said to them, I know that the Lord has given, I got some good out of this right here now. It said, before the spies laid down for the night, she went up on the roof and said to them, I know that the Lord has given you this land, and that a great fear of you has fallen on us, so that all who live in this country are melting in fear because of you. Y'all remember, y'all heard that scripture on Sunday?
Yeah.
And I told y'all that the enemy really scared us. That's what that scripture right there. So now check this out. She put them up on the roof, covered them with flax, lied to the folk and told the folk they gone. The folk ran out and ran after them. But then the key piece that got me, and see if somebody can get somebody else, they said at nighttime, when they were getting ready to go to sleep, it said that she went up on the roof and told the men that I know that, I know who you are. I know that God, and the people here scared of y'all. But that triggered something to me when she went up on the roof before it was time to go to bed and talk to them.
She probably didn't.
Huh?
She said she probably didn't.
Did what?
Go on the roof.
Well, You right, she probably been up on the roof. Go ahead, Melvin.
Well, we know she went on the roof with folks.
What? I think y'all looking at the roof the wrong way.
Yeah. Here's my take on the roof is, we know she went at night because she know that people looking for them. She know that, spies got spies. So why would she go in the day? Because she's going to give away where their position was or where they're being hid at. So what she told a lie to now it's a lie instead of her telling the truth. But she went up during the night so nobody else can see where she was going and who she was talking to while she was up on it.
Okay, Destiny? Oh, yeah, well, my question is, go ahead, John.
First off, try to pull some out of why she put them under the flag.
Okay.
Because, okay, I think I might pull this thing up. Because it was like saying that
Something.
flags was the best for production.
Is that in certain seasons spread out on the flat roofs of each house to be dry in the sun.
Okay.
Out the line of our is piled up in numerous little stacks from which the luxuriant growth of the flags will rise to a height of 3 to 4 feet.
Okay.
So we say, and they say behind some of these stacks, Ray had a concealed spy.
Right.
So we don't think she put them on the flags because she knew it would rise and it would be able to conceal it. People wouldn't think nothing of it because
And if you see a big lump of flags, it's no big deal because you think it's already risen.
They think about it, people, they rise up.
But check this out though. My thing is, why they sleeping on the roof? Why they just gonna come back in the house? They hid up on the roof, but why they sleeping on the roof? We know what's going on in the house, right? But they not, even though they at the house, they ain't mixing themselves with the stuff that's going on in the house.
Right.
And so I think a key piece of that, when we go out to kind of fit in and go be a part and get the word, don't fit in so much to where you're already in a situation where your good might be evil spoken of, but try your best to shun the appearance of evil. And so they stayed separate. They stayed, And so even though they was at a prostitute's house, but they went down there where the business might have been going on, they was up on the roof in a separate place, and so she came up and spoke to them, and apparently they slept out there on the roof. They didn't go down in the house, and I think that's a clear piece that we got to make sure of. Is much, and that's the piece with ministry that's so important. That with ministry, you don't want to get you want to be able to get in there so you can find out what's going on. You want to be able to get in there and get a pulse of what's going on, but you don't want to get in. Y'all ever seen this movie called In Too Deep?
Yeah.
You don't want to get in there so deep to where you look like what's going on. You want to make sure you keep a real clear separation of why you were there. And so even though they was at the house, they didn't sleep in the house.
Yeah.
And I think it also kept Rahab in position because she and the people already knew about him. And the world know about y'all. The world know when y'all show up, the world know that them children of God, whether they respect God or not, they know. And the world is looking. And so nobody could say that they slept in the house with Rahab. They slept up on the roof. And it was, and I think Rahab, it had to help her faith out too. That these men aren't even trying to, I respect the men, I see who they are. Because even in ministry, especially like as a pastor, people respect me as a pastor. But people also allow me into places emotionally they wouldn't normally allow people in. Sometimes you don't just allow anybody into your spirit. You don't allow anybody into your emotions. You don't open yourself up to anybody because some people take advantage of that kind of stuff. And so a lot of women, and men, for different reasons, but don't allow people in too far. Because they don't want to make themselves vulnerable like that by putting their stuff out there like that. But a lot of times as a pastor, people trust me because of who I am, and they allow me in. But when they allow me in, I have a responsibility of making sure that I always keep clear lines drawn when they allow me in. And so I think that that was very wise on their part, that when she allowed them in, that they still made sure lines were drawn, and they probably could have very easily slept inside, but they slept outside up on the roof. So everything was still real clear. Rahab, you trusted us, but we don't want to we don't want to play on your vulnerabilities and take advantage of your trust. And so we want to make sure that the lines are clear. And just a real clear example of that, you know, say like a woman could come in and share with me, you know, some things that she just normally wouldn't share, you know, with the man that she really don't, she come and just really breaks down the wall and totally opens herself up and shares herself with me. And now knowing all that information, because when I was in the world, that's not what you wanted to tell me. You done told, I can break all the code, I can break every lock you got. Now you done let me know everything. That's what you want. This what you want. This why you mad at him. Man, I can break that code, and every man can. I'm sure every woman know how to do that when a person takes down all the defenses. And so as a pastor, if a woman comes and just shares everything, all the issues, all the things, I can play on that and take advantage of her, with her not even having the intent of going the wrong direction, but I can take advantage of that and then play on that. And I think a lot of women probably end up getting in bad situations because they've opened themselves up to men that they should have trusted as men of God, and then he took advantage of it, because normally they wouldn't even open themselves up. You don't just go to a regular person on the street and just pull everything out like that, but you should be able to trust the person that call themselves your pastor or a man of God. And I can take advantage of that, and then things go in a different direction. And so I think it was real good on the spies' part that even although they're in a harlot's house, they made sure they kept a clear separation of their relationship. And then on the other side with men, as a pastor dealing with men, a man could come to me and tell me issues he's dealing with, things he's dealing with, and might even be issues with his wife, you know, that he's dealing with. And then I could take that and play against that. You telling me all the stuff that your wife don't like about all the stuff that your wife doing, you done opened yourself up like that right there. Now I can turn that and play it and not go be everything that you ain't. All right? But as a man of God, you got to make that clear separation and make sure that you don't put yourself in that kind of position right there so that everybody understands the relationship. And so I think that's very important that they slept up on the roof. I think it's important that clear lines were drawn. And so she came up and she gave them the information, and she said, she gave them the information and said, I know who you are, and I fear your God. As a matter of fact, everybody fears your God. What kind of weapon is that? To go in as a spy and then already know everybody. That's you about to help me win this fight. If I'm about to go, because I really wasn't a fighter. I'm going to be real with y'all. Coming up, I wasn't a fighter. All right? If you listen to me, you'll think I was a fighter, but I knew who to talk noise to. I knew who to talk noise to and who to just learn how to be quiet. But if I find out somebody's scared of me, oh man, my confidence level about a wheel, I'm turned into a thug. I'm the last thing from a thug. I'm the last one that can ever be accused of being a thug. But you scared of me? Oh man, yeah, I know you scared. Man, I'm about to take advantage of that right there. And so now you imagine God's people, they in this land, this strong city, and now she done came and told them that we scared of y'all. I know what we might be saying and what it look like, but we all scared. We scared. And I need shaking. Boy, that had to take the confidence level up right there. Y'all feel what I'm saying? And so I believe we about to finish. Let me see. I think we might have to wait. She said that they scared the ruler for the spies gonna lay down there. She said his feet fall upon his country. Yeah, the country melt with fear because we scared. Okay, let me go ahead and read so she can show how scared. 10 said, we have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea. I think that's what Barbara Allen was saying. They done heard about your God. For you, how he dried up the Red Sea for you when you came out of Egypt. And what you did in Sihon and Og and the two kings, the Amorites east of the Jordan, whom you completely destroyed. When we heard of it, our hearts melted in fear, and everyone's courage failed because of you. Because of you, for the Lord your God is God in heaven above and earth below. Man, that's a confidence builder right there. We about to take everybody scared of me. We about to, and so God put him in all the right places. Put him with the ones that could calm their fears real quick. You know, and Rahab is the one that knew all this information. But she could also protect them. And so now when they get ready to go back, they confident. They beat themselves on the chest. We ready to fight. Now, how many have ever been in a situation where you were kind of nervous, and then God showed you, ain't no need to be intimidated. You just as smart. Actually, they scared you. They think they scared of you because because some folk can try to intimidate you and make you think you're not worthy or whatnot. You find out they scared of me because they know I'm smart enough. They know I'm more capable. I'm more qualified. And so I think this right here is a perfect example of these men listening to God, going to the right place that might not have made sense, but it's where God sent them, and dealing with the right folk, and then God provided for them. Anybody else got anything?
God just makes vision and take them to places. In our sight, we might look at everything impossible. God is always possible. And God had to touch her heart for her to do what she did. She feared God. She believed it. When this was coming into the lesson now, she said she know the Lord, she know God is Son. And she put everything she can help. And she did. By her doing that, she did.
Yes, sir. That's absolutely right. Yes, sir.
No matter what a person doing, what they into, how bad I might how high the door to know they in. Man, somewhere back up in there, they know God. They got respect for Him.
You do?
Yeah. So no matter what, it's there. And all it takes is something trivial for it all to come to the fore.
It was only, when I was out there running the streets, there was only one type of woman that was safe for me. And that was a church girl. When I found out she was a church girl, I might be doing some foolish stuff, but I ain't gonna mess with God. I'm the only one that was safe for me, because I have enough sense to know, as foolish as I am, you don't, even though I was doing stupid stuff that get me in trouble with God, but I still have respect for God at the level that I was at. And the people out there in the world, people at the world know, when Martin was over there at the food mart, little drug boys, they coming up and give money. Want to give an offering because they ain't gonna be in church, so they want to give an offering. People, everybody, folk on all walks of life. You gotta be blind. Stevie Wonder can see that there's a God. You have to. Folk know that there's a God. They might not want to yield to Him, but you folk know that there's a God somewhere. And these folk right here have enough sense to fear Him. Yes, ma'am. What you got, Stan?
Show what flash is like. Finally.
Show it to them. I pulled it up. Show it to them.
Okay. Okay, you see that? It's like strong.
And that's when it's dry.
Yeah.
What is it?
Flats.
Shirley wants you to show the computer.
That's what she did inside.
And so what they do is put it out for it to dry. It's a green plant, but they put it out for it to dry, and then it rises once it dries. But because it rolls, they know it rises up to 3 feet. That can, a man, so they say, well, it might just roll. They lay on top of the man, but it don't make it didn't cause any, confusion with seeing a big lump right there. But that's how flat rise. Yes, sir.
One thing I got out of this is that God help you to do something. Stay focused and continue to lean on God. But like you say, they was right on top of the prostitute's house, and they kept focused on what they was trying to do, and they couldn't have went back down there because everybody was when them was gone. The gate, the doors, the locks, and everything. They had all the rights to escape and continue on what God had them to do. And He uses us do it, we can't turn around and fall weak for what we started out to do.
All right. Wonderful. David, you got anything you want to add? You all right? Okay. All right. Wonderful. Good Bible study, folks. Good Bible study. All right, we